Let's go!
Time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
Who knows when we'll be playing that again? Well, football. All right, welcome everybody. Too soon, Bill? Too soon?
Maybe a little bit.
Part of the problem of last night was the game was on ESPN Bulgaria. So I listened to Darren. Darren did a fantastic job. You got to have something to talk about. He didn't. But I did watch the Pirates' opponent Friday live last night, Charleston Southern. They played IU Indy, the Jaguars, down in Charleston in their gym, which is almost as small as the Herman Student Center where I would do games for Peace College back in the day. So the Buck Dome I'm talking about. And so I've seen some of the video since I was able to, figure out a way to get on to ESPN Kazakhstan and check this thing out. And there wasn't a whole lot to see. Offensively, there are problems right now, major problems. We're going to talk to Brian Mull in our next segment, so I don't want to belabor it. I'm sure we got a top 5 topic on it, but I don't want to belabor the point because this is just not a very well constructed roster right now. And look, there's a lot of basketball is such a unique sport in that it just takes a hot streak and you kind of reverse your trend. There is a point where you are what you are. We're not at that point yet, but the early returns on that, not so good. You watched it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did because there was like the alternate WITN channel, and
okay,
yeah,
you got to see it.
This is kind of what my worry was coming into the year. Right, we've got a lot of role players, and who's your go-to scorer?
Well,
get your scorer.
Clearly Jordan Riley had 19, but you need. I think you got to have some other guys consistently step up, and some guys are playing some big minutes and not producing.
Yeah,
but I don't know where you go. I don't know where you go at this point. Much to talk about with that. Also, the ECU club hockey team has a big event coming up, so we'll talk about that as well. All right, let's do the top 5 at 5. Lots to get into here because we have 2 big guests today. And I want to spend a lot of time with Mull. So here we go.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
You ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
Number one.
Alrighty, number 1, as previously mentioned, the Pirates fall to the Seahawks. Coach Schwartz said after the game, the 3-point shooting was the difference.
Both teams had the same mindset going in to protect the paint. Both teams were paint teams and trying to get there. And, neither team was able to really score in the paint. The difference is, as you said, Darren, they shot the 3 ball so well.
Audio courtesy of the ECU Sports Network there. Not only did the Seahawks shoot it well, particularly in the second half for 3, but the Pirates, after maybe 5 out of their first 7 or 8 from 3, like in the first 5 minutes of the game, hit 5 threes.
Yeah.
And then just made 2 out of damn near 20 the rest of the way. You can't have that.
Not in today's game, to your point, Patrick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say they had the lead when they were hitting their threes, and it was like, hey, this could be a competitive ball game, and then they couldn't find other ways to score when they couldn't hit the long ball.
I don't understand in this day and time where shooters are, I'm not saying everybody's a great shooter, but the game is predicated towards people that get a lot of shots up from deep. And there's not anybody, and there's player movement. You're as free to move now as you've ever been.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around how the shooters are not able. Now, I'm going to say this about Calker, and Calker has not played well in the first 4 games. He'd probably be the first person to tell you that. He finished the year on a really hot streak last year.
Yeah.
That somebody needs to tell him the end of the year's coming up, because in some ways the end of the year could be coming up, because it's just, I mean, it is not a good thing right now. More with this with Brian Mull next segment. So do you have anything you want to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I mean, there's not a whole lot to add at this point. And the crowd they're playing on Saturday or Friday, East Carolina, scored over 100 last night. And averages something like 85 a game. So, I mean,
61 in the first half.
You better figure out a way. They scored more in the half than East Carolina scored in the game.
Number 2.
Number 2, while everybody else was at football practice on Sunday, Pat's guy, Bill Belichick, was a competitive cheer competition. No, not for his granddaughter, for his 24-year-old girlfriend, Hare Jordan, who's still doing comp cheer.
First of all, I didn't know such a thing as co-ed adult comp cheer was a thing.
I did know it, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Oh, there are girls there's girls I went to high school with that are still doing competitive cheer.
Really?
Yeah, at 24.
That's odd.
It is. I just want to know, is he like sitting over there with the other cheer moms? Gossiping? Little Susie is too much in the front and the center during the dance routine.
Sitting over there with the other dads, the other lecherous perverts gawking is what he's doing, probably.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in a relationship, you want to support your partner. I understand that. But I think the thing that blows my mind here is she is in adult competitive. That does not seem like a space that I would want anybody I'm in know or involved with to occupy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I totally get because cheer culture is a little strange, a little different.
Yeah.
You know, but to have adult cheer culture, that seems even more bizarre. And I don't know. I was more stunned, less stunned by the fact he was there, more stunned by the fact that there was such a thing as adult co-ed cheer.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, the fact that she's doing it.
That just blew my mind. And then look, I mean, she's dolled up for it.
Yeah, they got to do all the makeup and the hair, and they have to do the fake smile the whole time. Though.
Right. As ridiculous as the kids look dressing up for this, the adults look even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
At least Hare Jordan did.
3 new college football playoff rankings are out. Top 3 untouched. Georgia jumps all the way up to number 4. Bama falls to 10. Tulane goes up to 24. Patrick, we got a pair of sound bites from this. Are you wanting to hear the John Summerall first, or are you wanting to hear the chair of the committee? Yeah.
Because you brought up Tulane. So let's play that. I guess this is from his press conference today.
Candid. There's some days, I mean, I'll just be very candid. There's some days I feel like we're one of the bottom 25 teams in the country watching us play. So, you know, if we want to start feeling comfortable or casual about somebody wanting to vote us in the top 25 teams, there must be a lot of bad football going on if we're one of the top 25 teams. So, I mean, there must be some really bad football played right now in college football. So, I don't know. We're average. We're an average team. We get every 6 or 7 days, depending on the schedule of the week, to promote ourselves or embarrass ourselves. And we've done that before. So we better get ready to play. I think I watched this practice today. I think we're average.
So there's a little coach speak in there. I would probably agree with him that they're probably above average. I don't think they're average.
Yeah.
They're above average team. Now, do I think they are the best group of 5 team? Could be. I'm not convinced they are, but they could be.
Yeah. I mean, they're the ones who've played the best. I think maybe on paper, South Florida is a little better.
South Florida's pretty good. Memphis was pretty good. I mean, I know your record is what you say you are. You've got JMU kind of lurking out there, right?
Yeah, but JMU's beat the School of the Blind, the Little Sisters of the Poor.
You beat who's on your schedule.
I know.
You can only beat who's on your schedule. And, I mean, East Carolina's on paper, mathematically, however you want to put it, still in the mix.
Yep.
So there's been times this year I've thought ECU is a really good team. There's been times I've thought, this is maybe a little below average team. But probably about average. I wouldn't say below average.
Yeah.
But that's kind of coach speak. Okay, and then I've had a contention all year long with Notre Dame.
You have. So we're playing this for PJ here. The chair of the committee tells Reese Davis as to why Notre Dame is ranked ahead of Miami.
We really compare the losses of those two teams. Miami has lost to 2 unranked teams. Notre Dame has lost to 2 teams that are ranked in our top 13.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I wish Reese Davis actually had the cojones to say that line from Billy Madison. So that was a great addition to that there.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a made-for-TV event.
Oh yeah, the whole thing is.
And I'm not even convinced we have the best. I mean, based on what the Tulane coach is saying and the fact that I do think Notre Dame is fraudulent, Miami's. So I mean, are we even getting 12 really good teams? I guess.
No, we're getting about 8 really good teams. Yeah. I think maybe 10.
It should be an 18 playoff, maybe a 10.
But
12 and now 16 in the Big Ten. What's 24? Far too frickin' many.
Well, the one thing I will say about what they're saying here, I firmly believe you don't punish teams for losing to good teams. I have no problem with Notre Dame being over Miami. I say you reward good wins and you punish bad losses. That's how this thing should go. Every other thing, you let play out.
Somebody played and who this.
I know, but Notre Dame's at least lost to good football teams. Miami, I don't know.
Well, you're right. But there was a time we thought Miami was going to be untouchable.
True.
That was a time.
4-4-4.
LeBron James makes the return.
Beijing?
Yeah.
Back from the G League?
He played last night. 23rd season. That is a record. He also scored 12 points, which continues his streak of now 1,293 games of scoring double figures dating back to January 6, 2007. PJ, I think we have interns that weren't born the last time he didn't score.
Sure. No, I understand.
10 points in a game.
Right. Hey, I think it's, like it or not, he is a top of the mind awareness name when you say NBA now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the cat, and when I say that, I'm saying Jimmy and Jane Walmart. He's the cash, fan, the passerby kind of fan. He's the reason that the Lakers are still in prime time, and Lakers are really good. Is he going to come back and well, they're not really good. Lakers are pretty good. Are they going to come back? Is he going to come back and screw this up? Because it seems like that they have something maybe starting to brew with Luka, and they seem to be carving out a new identity in a direction. Does he come in and ambush that whole thing?
I hope not.
That's the Palace intrigue to me.
That is. That's what you got to watch moving forward. You hit the nail on the head. The thing is, I think he realizes he's older, and I think his comments yesterday about not playing in the Olympics are in the reasons he gave. I'm going to say I think he realizes what his role is now, and that's to be a mentor and to add where he can and let the stars be stars.
Interesting.
5.
Number 5, Jamar Chase's suspension is upheld after he spit on Jalen Ramsey.
You know, we're in a time of the year where we have the playoffs, and I think every coach who's having to control a knucklehead 16 and 17-year-old should let every one of their players know what's going on with this. And, you know, it is a sport. It is a team sport. It is a sport based on sportsmanship. And you can have bad sportsman. You can't have bad sportsmanship.
When you go out there, I mean, that's the most
crazy is he denied it, and the video evidence. I mean, don't believe your lying eyes.
There you go, Mr. Don Henley. I like it. But hey, man, you know they say it's the most expensive spit of all time. Spit cost him over $500,000. He's suspended without pay.
All right, we got to hit a break. We'll come back and we'll talk with Brian Mull. He was at the game last night at Trask Coliseum. Get his take on that when we come back.
Oh, hey. Welcome back.
Oh, look who's back reporting for duty.
You got here just in time.
Holy nuts, man.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
All right, breaking it down, talking about last night's unfortunate game for the Pirates. UNC Wilmington winning for the 40th time all-time against ECU. It did it in dominant fashion. Brian Mull, our friend, college basketball writer at large, also two-time caddy on the PGA Tour and golf writer. He was there. He's in Wilmington, and he joins us on the Patrick Johnson Show. Pilk made a great suggestion to get you on today since you were in the house to get some analysis. So we wanted to do that. We always enjoy having Mull on. Hey, you know, so I kind of thought all along after Thursday, I felt really just sort of discouraged about the state of Pirate basketball on Friday. You know, never did a win feel like a loss than against Elizabeth City State. And I thought, man, if the Pirates cough it up 20 times like they did against the Vikings, against the Seahawks, they would lose by 40. They only turned it over 10 times, but they, as my buddy the Ebb says from Greene County, couldn't hit a fat hog in the blank at times last night on offense. I mean, just you know, had that little spurt where they were ahead, Brian, and then it just went south on them, and you can't do that against Wilmington in their building.
No, it was a phenomenal atmosphere. The student section was as good as you'll ever see it, packed to the absolute max. Everybody standing and active 30 minutes, 20 minutes before tip-off, and you know, the Seahawks certainly fed off of that energy in the building. Great atmosphere for college basketball for a game in November. And UNCW's best effort of the young season, they're playing a little shorthanded and have kind of had to rediscover their identity, and that starts on the defensive end and rebounding. And they were very good in both aspects last night. You know, giving ECU some shots from the perimeter. They hit a few early, but once that well dried up, the Seahawks were just relentless in attacking the basket. And then, of course, Christian May turned into Larry Bird there for a while in the second half, and just you know, hitting 6 threes and just dominant performance by the Seahawks. The Pirates just looked overmatched from a talent perspective. You know, not what ECU fans want to hear, but of the 4 Mike Schwartz teams, based on the product on the court last night, this is by far the least talented, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, truth hurts. And, you know, I think right now you're looking at a situation where even this early in the season, the trend line is not positive. I mean, you could very easily be 0-4 if you're East Carolina right now in basketball. Seriously. And 1-3 for sure. And, you know, I kind of look at this thing and think to myself, here's where I do get discouraged, and I mean this is why we try to bring intelligent guests on, good guests on, people who actually deal in reality, and not the message board wars. This isn't message board radio, and nor will it ever be. But to me, I hear too much out there bitching and moaning. Oh, well, we spent money. Yeah, you spent money. It's like Carolina. Oh, we don't need a GM. All of a sudden, we got a GM. Well, yeah, so did every other major program 5 years ago, guys, in Chapel Hill. Way to get with the times. I mean, with these, we spent X amount of dollars on a men's basketball. Okay, welcome to the party, gentlemen. Now let's that's the baseline commitment, in my opinion. Now, can we have a debate? Can we analyze roster construction? Sure, all day long. I think we should, because this is not at least as we sit here right now, this is not a competitive in the American roster, in my opinion. And we can certainly call into question evaluation of talent and roster construction all day long. That's fine. But I mean, to hear these ridiculous statements, we're gonna go and grab this. We need to give this money to that, or football and basketball, people, in that order. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now, Brian. Back to the game. But I mean, it's just the roster construction here is not very good for East Carolina right now.
No, it's not. There's a lot of holes. And look, let's watching. I went up to Raleigh Monday night, watched NC State and VCU, and there were 7 or 8 shooters on the court at all times in that game. And a big guy on at times on each side that could pop out and maybe even try a three and be a threat to make one. And if this isn't breaking news, but I mean that has been the trend in basketball, starting at the NBA and trickling down to the college basketball level, and spreading the floor and being able to shoot. And you have to be able to. It just makes everything work better when you can pull the big guys away from the basket, open up the lane. The driving is easier. The free throw opportunities are more abundant, and you have to have shooters. And if not, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to be a team that half of your attempts are from three. You don't have to, but you just have to be able to have that threat and not allow teams to sag in. And it was obvious that UNCW's game plan last night. I mean, Siddle was shaking his head a little bit when it was 20-15. And ECU had hit some threes, and I told a friend of mine that went, I said, that they're not a great 3-point shooting team, and then they came out, pretty hot, and but he was willing to live with that and stick to what he felt like would work, and they did a great job defending the big guys and denying the ball, because the big fella number 7, Giovanni, is so good at sealing and scoring when he can, get the ball in deep, but 20 minutes and he fouled out, and only 4 attempts from the field. I mean, that's a successful defensive game. And yeah, it's just difficult. It's just very, very difficult if you can't have multiple shooters out there and get the ball popping. And that was really the glaring weakness I saw with this ECU team. A lot of tough twos, made some. You're willing to give those up, and yeah, the roster construction had me scratching my head, and just Siddle had an interesting comment after the game. I mean, he was, I don't think he was trying to throw shade whatsoever, but he said every year he said he had a lot of respect for Schwartz and the way they, but he said every year the identity of the team has been different each of the last 4 years that they've played ECU. And I just don't know that at this level, you can do that if you're Duke, or if you're Kentucky, or getting the best of the best, and you can kind of shift the way you play a little bit. But even there, in those programs, you see an idea of what they're trying to do year in and year out, a type of player that those coaches are trying to recruit. And you have to. That has to be the same at the mid-major level. I mean, Siddle has proven in 5 years here what type of guy he's going to get. and he just seems to be able to find them and land them and get them to buy into playing a team brand of basketball. I mean, nobody played more than 30 minutes last night, even with a short bench. And everyone who came in kind of filled their role, and 4 guys in double figures, another guy with 9 points. And that's just the balance. You know, you've got to have multiple threats out there and, you know, be able to spread it around and have guys who can do something with the basketball. And ECU is very predictable on offense. And, you know, Jordan Raleigh's a fine player, but I'm not sure what he does to help you win, you know, how he makes others better. I don't really see a lot of that.
I mean, I think all of this analysis is spot on. I mean, this is what I'm hearing from other people, you know, and I even see them with my eyes. Yeah, I mean, a tough one last night. Let me revert something back here to Wilmington, because I think part of this, too, is it wasn't like East Carolina went on the road last night and lost to a team that is going to be middling in their conference. I mean, Wilmington's got a shot to make the NCAAs again. And so just kind of what's – I think this would be a fair way to ask this and an intriguing way to ask this as we're talking to Brian Mull. What are the ceilings for the respective teams last night?
Yeah, I mean, the Seahawks are 115 in KenPom. I mean, they're clearly, to me, a potential top 100 program, CAA regular season contender, a viable candidate to win the tournament for the second year in a row. You know, Sybil's taken them to the finals 3 of his 5 years. You can't really, I say 3 of 4. You can throw that COVID year out. You know, so he's had them in the mix where they want to be. 4 straight 20-win seasons. I would think with their schedule, with 21 home games, a 5th 20-win season is a given. They'll get those guys back. The 2 guards that really give them a little more firepower and 3-point shooting on the offensive end. They'll get them both back before conference play. They feel like, and you know, I mean, this is a team that had Texas Tech on the ropes until JT Toppin and Williams decided to take the game over down the stretch in the first round of the tournament last year. And I think they have enough. You know, they got 3 big guys, you know, 7 foot, 6'11", and 6'9", and they're really high on this 6'11" sophomore McCoy who got 13 minutes last night. I mean, he's long and active and can really help them defensively. I think they're a team that could cause problems with the right matchup in a tournament game. ECU, just I can't imagine that roster in the American, knowing what I know about that conference. And you know, when you look at the South Floridas and the UABs and North Texas and Memphis, and I mean, you just don't see how they could even get to the middle, to be honest with you. I mean, as a bottom tier American team, you know, it's not a team that's going to, looks like to me, it's going to finish with a winning record overall or in the conference.
That might be putting it very nicely. We'll delve into that as we go along during the course of the season. All right, let's talk a little bit about a couple of other games last night. It was Cam Boozer with the double-double. John Shire had this to say about Boozer after the game from MSG where they beat Kansas.
You know, look, he had 18, 10, and 5. I still don't even think he played, like, incredible, you know, and that's the thing that's really exciting.
So there you go. Double-double, and Shire says, I could have been better. I mean, Duke 4-0, and, you know, all of a sudden I'm seeing last night where they and I think Houston are actually the 2 that are the Vegas favorites right now to win it all. Of course, we got a long way to go. But, you know, nice statement win for Duke last night in, as they say, Cameron Indoor North.
No, he looked good. I got home in time to pick it up about midway through the first half. And just a nice workmanlike team effort. Yeah, obviously the spotlight's going to be on Cam Boozer, as it should be. I mean, he is just so well-rounded. Look at what he can do on the glass and scoring and his passing ability. The passing ability of their big men is really phenomenal when you look at Malik Brown, Ongbutt, and Boozer, just the way that they can stand up there at the free throw line and pick teams apart, and the cutting and moving. It's really a pleasing brand of basketball to watch, and I thought that The key, obviously, for this team is the development of Caleb Foster, who's kind of had a couple of uneven years, and then the freshman Caden Boozer in the backcourt, and Shire showing his trust, playing them together down the stretch of that game when Duke had a little bit of a lead to get a little more ball handling out there. Caden Boozer had 2 huge baskets where he just put his head down and got to the rim. 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover to go along with his 7 points. And I think the development of those 2 is promising for Duke's prospects as it comes, to contending for that national championship. And look, this is if you can't understand what John's doing there and what he's done to this point, I mean, it's the defense is going to be, they held Kansas to 1 point per possession last night. And I know they were down Peterson. Kansas is going to be good. I was a little more impressed with them than I thought I would be. They're going to be fine once they get Peterson back. I mean, they've got two pros at least on that squad, and they'll be a team that won't be ranked in the 20s at the end of the season. But Duke's heading in a good direction. They've had two of these tests, both on neutral courts, and they've handled them both. They'll, they have a run of them coming up here right before Christmas that'll show them a lot more about their team. But I think if you're a Blue Devil fan, you have to feel pretty good about where things are. And I think everybody in the offseason was trying to compare everything to last year. Well, guess what? You don't have to play last year's teams. I don't think Houston's as good as they were last year. I don't think that Auburn's as good. Like Florida, last year was just a culmination of a lot of 5th year and 6th year guys, and now those guys have kind of been phased out, and we're back to a little more traditional in some ways landscape in college basketball. And I think that I don't know that any of the teams last year was an epic year as far as 3 or 4 teams that were stronger than ever in all the efficiency ratings. And I think this year, not maybe quite at that level, but that was a generational type season.
Got Brian Mull with us here. I'm going to come back to ECU in a little bit because they're playing Charleston Southern, who hung a hundo spot on the artist formerly known as Ooey Pooey last night. But I want to shift over to UNC. They win last night. Navy pushed back like a 15-0 second half run on the heels. And then despite moving to 5-0 and Caleb Wilson kind of leading the way, a players-only meeting last night in Chapel Hill. Ooh! Seems a little early, especially if you're 5-0, to be having that players-only meeting. But we'll go with the ceiling for this Tar Heel team because, I mean, like it or not, they are 5-0.
No, I mean, I think they're at least a Sweet 16 caliber team. I think that the injury to Trimble is probably in the big picture a positive, because it's giving an opportunity to guys like Dixon and Powell to get some more minutes than they probably would, and certainly Luka, who is as good as advertised and really knows how to play and is really so different than what they had last year in the backcourt, and a guy with perimeter skills who understands how to, doesn't have to pound the air out of the basketball all the time and can move it around and still get his points. I like the roster construction. As bad as the roster construction was last year, one of the smallest teams in North Carolina history and in the country. I mean, they've got legitimate size and guys with diverse skill sets, and can put one of the biggest front courts in the nation out there. And all those guys have been productive. Jaron Stevenson seems to finally have found his spot and role. And I mean, look, this is a good North Carolina team. They're certainly a tournament team, and like I said, they're like a second weekend team to me right now. With obviously when you get in that tournament, anything can happen. Potential to be even more. Caleb Wilson is legit. I mean, 23 and 12, 3 blocks, 4 steals. Did all that in 27 minutes. Highlight dunk. He's bouncy. And he's one of the best freshmen to come through there, and they have let him shine. And got hats off to Hubert and the staff for recruiting him and letting him do his thing, because he's phenomenal talent.
Brian Mull with us here, college basketball scribe. One thing we did not talk about, I think actually it happened the other night, so we haven't talked to you since then. How about Josh Pastner? coming back to Memphis with the running Rebs and knocking off Penny and the gang in his return to Memphis. You know, Pastner is, I don't know, he kind of makes me chuckle. But you know what? He gets these jobs, so he must know something. Made some money, good for him. But in a way, I kind of felt good for him the other night, going back in there, leading UNLV to a win.
Yeah, it was a big game. I mean, probably not a game that you would have expected to be on the schedule in his first year at UNLV as he's trying to build it. And they had certainly had some head-scratching results, early, losing home to Montana and Tennessee Martin. I mean, no offense to those programs, but we know who's spending more money in that NIL situation in both cases. Speaking of the GMs, it was funny. Somebody posted last night somewhere that the top 5 teams that have made the biggest jump in KenPom since the beginning of the year, and it's some programs you wouldn't expect. University of New Orleans, and Tennessee Martin, and Stephen F. Austin among those, and 3 of the 5 hired a GM for the first time in the off season. So they that there might be something to be said to that. But yeah, good for the Running Rebels, and this Memphis team is not. This ain't your big brother's Memphis Tigers. This roster does. This roster does not have that type of firepower. They've certainly got some guys Aaron Bradshaw, the former Kentucky 7-footer. He was supposed to be a one and done lottery pick, and he's not.
He just might be done.
Yeah, I mean, his numbers get worse the more he plays, and they've got Purdue coming up here Thursday night on neutral, and then games against Baylor and Louisville and Vanderbilt and Mississippi State. I mean, this is a team that could very well enter the conference with a 500 or losing record.
All right, Pirates Friday against Chucktown Southern, and this is a team that comes in the Bucks, having scored 103 last night against IU Indy, the Jaguars at the Buck Dome, and they're averaging 85.5. This seems like it could be problematic for a team that is offensively challenged, as the Pirates are.
Well, yeah, when you play one of these teams, you want to play one that's like defensive minded and trying to control possessions. You're like, okay, we can just, overwhelm them over the course of 75 possessions. But a team like Charleston Southern that's going to come in firing and have some scorers, we've all seen it so many times. They get some confidence and get a lead and the ball's going into the basket. And where does ECU turn to match that? Do they fall into trying to match them with threes when they should be trying to pound the ball inside? Do they have to this Charleston Southern's lineup force ECU to play smaller than they want to because they got to chase these guards around? I mean, all of those things are certainly on the table and to be considered there. So it's a game ECU is obviously going to be a double-digit favorite to win or close to it. But they're gonna have to play a lot better. I don't know. They just look like they would have rather been anywhere else than where they were last night, and that was not their mindset to bring into a rowdy Coliseum in Wilmington. They may not see a road game with atmosphere like that all year.
Good point. Well, they're going to Chapel Hill. Keep in mind on December 22nd. I mean, the Wine and Cheesers may be really rowdy on that day. It's right before Christmas. Perhaps some Christmas cheer.
It's a big Christmas party night, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. Yes, even though it's a Monday. Big Christmas party night. We'll see how the sweater vest crowd will react that night in Utopia Hill. Could be a lot of house divided. All right. Pilk is playing me off like it's the Oscars. All right. Brian Mull. Thank you, buddy.
Have a good one, everybody.
When we come back. All right. Have a good Thanksgiving, Mull. We'll talk to you after the holiday. All right. After the break, Justin Waters, Associate Director of Leadership and Program at ECU Intramurals, will join us.
We're back to the show.
I missed you. We all missed you. Did you miss him?
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Okay, coming up tomorrow night is the 7:04 out. Actually, I'm sorry. This will be tomorrow night, 7:04 outdoor face-off. I'm losing track of the days. It happens during the holiday season. It goes on at Truist Field in Charlotte. It involves East Carolina's club hockey team, and they are going to be taking on Georgia Tech. This is a big event. Going to be a lot of kind of excited about it. Justin Waters, Associate Director of Leadership and Programs at ECU, is with us here on the show today to talk about that. Justin, welcome. Very exciting stuff. Tell us about what's going down tomorrow night at the ballpark in uptown Charlotte.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. So we are fortunate enough that our ice hockey club here at East Carolina has an opportunity to take the ice outdoors. There in Charlotte, we're playing the Georgia Tech team. They're a good team, and but we're coming off a win this weekend playing JMU. So we're excited to play a little mid-week action hockey.
So this outdoor classic or outdoor face-off, as they're calling it, is going on, as you say, in Charlotte. It's something that's really become in vogue in hockey in recent years, and that is outdoor. In fact, I think the Checkers in Charlotte will play a game or two outdoors there at Truist. So it's kind of some neat synergy among the pro teams in the Queen City. So I think this is fantastic, and obviously this will be something that I think folks in the Charlotte area who are ECU fans can look forward to. The other thing, this is part kind of just of an overall. They've already played some games in this classic or this face-off event, and so this is probably pretty prestigious to have the ECU club selected to participate in this, because there's a lot of really good club teams from around the Mid-Atlantic region that are coming to play in this.
Yes, sir. So they started the tournament or the classic this past weekend with some local schools. Coastal Carolina took on Auburn, Chapel Hill played South Carolina, and Alabama played the Wolfpack. So we'll kick off this weekend on Thursday, November 20th at 7:30 versus Georgia Tech, and then Friday the Hokies from Virginia Tech take on the Georgia Bulldogs. And on Saturday, they'll finish with their home team. App State will fight UNC Charlotte's Ice Hockey Club in a little battle there, rivalry.
Oh, it's very cool. Very cool. And East Carolina, Georgia Tech. Hey, I'm so old, I remember when they started the club hockey at East Carolina. So kind of give us a little bit of an update on the team and the program and kind of how it operates and where it operates now in Greenville.
Yes, sir. Well, the unique and challenging but rewarding thing about club sports is they're all student-run and student-led organizations, and they have a bunch of student leaders on and off the ice. Currently for us, one of our great goal scorers this year, we have our Sylvester brothers, Jackson. He's a senior. He's one of our captain, and his younger brother, Ben, is actually our goalie. Now, Ben was goalie of the year last year. And then we also have a graduate student, Jackson. He's the son of our assistant coach, and he's spent 12 years in the American Hockey League. They're probably three of our big key players, along with Ryan Scallon. He's also a grad school transfer from the University of Vermont. But the club officers lead their team on and off the ice. They make their own schedules for non-conference games. They book their own hotels. They find transportation. They fundraise. Each one of these players would have to pay a certain amount of dues, almost $2,000 a piece, just to continue playing the sport that they love. They do receive some support from us here at Campus Recreation and Wellness, but usually that funding is to cover their ice time here in town for the majority of their season.
Justin Waters, East Carolina, with us here, Associate Director of Leadership and Programs, and he's with us here on the Patrick Johnson Show today. so this is, and I mean, this goes without saying because of the commitment you just laid out there. But I mean, this is pretty high level competition. These are people who've played the sport in a lot of cases their entire lives, and it's taken extremely, extremely seriously. This is very competitive stuff. Probably a lot more sophisticated, I would venture to guess, than in its origins, when maybe there was a little beer league aspect to it back when it started many moons ago. Like I said, I remember going to one of the very first times they played a home match, or maybe the second, and it was cool. It was so much fun. But this is it seems like this, and even with the ECU club baseball, there's a couple of deals that have kind of gained some steam and momentum, and this is pretty high level stuff, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are fortunate to be very competitive in many of our club sports. With ice hockey on the rise, we have to admit that the success recently of the Carolina Hurricanes in Raleigh and their commitment to grow the sport around the state of North Carolina certainly has helped. We are looking forward to seeing how this Southern hockey continues to play out. Our friends down the road there at NC State, they were able to secure a deal with ESPN this year, so they've been broadcasting their games late at night. And we're fortunate, I believe I heard, we'll be on ESPN3 for this ice hockey game on Thursday night as well,
cool.
if folks can't make it out to the Queen City. But we do still have some tickets available. We work with the ECU alumni office to really target market for our folks in Charlotte. And I know we've sold at least about 200 tickets that will be making the trip this Thursday.
Oh, that's awesome. 7:30 from Truist Field in Charlotte. And I guess on the ESPN app, ESPN Plus, ESPN3 will be broadcasting this. That's very, very cool. That's really awesome to hear. So 7:30, it'll be on there. Check it out. Should be very good. Hey, tell me a little bit about kind of after the Truist event, what the what the upcoming sort of schedule looks like. What does it look like here throughout the next few months? And is there anywhere that folks locally, if they can't make the trip to Charlotte, would maybe want to go and watch one of these games? How could they do that?
Yes, sir. So when we're here in Greenville, we do play our games at the Carolina Ice Zone, located right over there across from the IHOP area. I believe they just put Dave's Chicken somewhere that. Look for the huge American flag, right? You can find it.
Right. Camping World. Right across from Camping World. Yeah, exactly.
That was it. So we've played the majority of our season so far for the 2025 season. We started our games back September 12th. We actually took a trip over to Alabama. And so they were super nice hosts, really great program they're starting to run there. Getting a lot of traction for their club hockey program. They hosted us for their home football game the next day. Our guys had a great time there.
Oh, wow.
So we played a lot of our games versus, Wake Forest, Coastal Carolina, Charlotte, App State. Always looking to expand that and look for better competition around the area just to prepare us for when we enter the Atlantic Coast Collegiate Hockey League's playoffs coming up. Mm-hmm. So that'll be in the spring semester, and we still are finalizing a few of those dates. But you can always check out ECUicehockey.com, and you can find their schedule up there, the roster, coaches, find out a little bit more about how you can support the team on and off the ice.
Let us know when all that's finalized. We'll promote it and get people to go out to it, because it's really a lot of fun to go to those games over there, and I'm glad to hear they still are at the Ice Zone. All right, I have a question, Justin. It's a very serious question. You may be able to answer this. Perhaps you will, perhaps you won't. We refer to Philip as Philip the Ref Pilkington. He officiated, among things, intramural sports. So maybe, I'm assuming that's where you guys kind of know each other from. Was Pilk a lousy official? That's just the question I have for you.
We just had a conversation about the ref this morning with his former direct supervisor who hired him, left the university, and I inherited him. Philip was great. Good rules knowledge about him. He had some street cred amongst the players because they did know that he was one of many that knew what he was actually talking about when we had some fouls and penalties. But he's we love telling people he's our proud alumni of Campus Rec and Wellness, and probably eventually here we'll get him back to do a ceremonial coin flip. But he's a referee, so we'll probably have to pay him to come here.
Wow. Pilk, is that true? You're going to do a ceremonial coin flip? I love this.
I didn't know it was going that far, but I do want to credit Justin for a lot of my success. So he's the one that got me into doing high school officiating and was my mentor there. So all the good calls I was making in the high school officiating is all Justin. He was the leader of the clinics over the summer, and I got assigned to his crew many times. So I think we had pretty good chemistry out there. We also got to share a really special moment on a football field at the middle school ranks where a young man got to score a touchdown who has some intellectual disabilities, and that young man, they put him in on the last play, and he got to score. Justin and I talked about, I think it was the second time the two of us had ever cried on a football field paired with our final high school game. So that was we got to share a really intimate moment together as officials, so Justin and I will always have that connection as well.
Absolutely. That's Phil, that's one of my fondest memories, and some of these times I have some games that as referees don't go so well, or it's just a long trip, a late night home for a couple of pennies it seems like, and you think about those moments, and I truly believe that high school sports, especially the game of football, is one of the true remaining team sports, and you learn so much from being involved in athletics, and that carries on, and that passion is something that we continue on our club sport program. So it's easy for me to get up and go to work every day because I have shared those emotions and I know why they're playing. And it's not for the name on the back of their jerseys. It's for the pride and the name on the front to continue to do what they love.
Well stated by both of you guys there. Justin, you did disappoint me, though, by not just laying into Pilk. But that's all right. If he was good, he was good. I can live with that. I can live with that.
Well, we did at one point. He was called. We thought he was sponsored by AT&T because there was a lot of long distance calls he'd make in front of us. But we reeled that in.
That is great, man.
Shut
that
off
is
the cannon
awesome.
a couple times.
That is awesome. That is a great statement there. I have to remember that. Hey, Justin, thank you. It is the 7:04 outdoor face-off. ECU club hockey playing Georgia Tech tomorrow night at 7:30. There are tickets available. Truist Field in Charlotte. A couple hundred are going, but tickets are still available for that. I bet it's going to be a heck of an environment. Should be great and a lot of fun. And if you're unable to make it, you can watch it on ESPN3. All right. Hey, Justin, thanks a lot, man. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir, Pat. Hey, appreciate you having it and having me. And hey, go Pirates! We're all bleeding this purple and gold, and we have success happening all around us.
And that's really cool. How about that? Playing on ESPN3 for ECU hockey.
Wow, the club hockey team's playing on a better network than the basketball team did last night. It's at least an American channel, not a Bulgarian channel. Look at that.
All right, thanks to Philip. Thanks to Brian Mull. A little overtime here, but hey, there's worse things that have happened. We'll be back Friday with a 90-minute edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. I know TJ Long will be with us and more to get you ready for ECU Hoops at night. Take care. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody.